Today's English fairy tale is Thumbelina. Once upon a time, deep in the forest, there lived a lonely old lady. She had a long-held wish. Oh, how wonderful it would be to have a small, adorable daughter. The grandmother spent her days knitting and often drifted off into naps. One day, as she dozed off, a fairy appeared in her dream. Plant this seed and take good care of it. Your wish will come true. Startled, the grandmother woke up and, to her surprise, found a small seed in her hand. She planted the seed in a pot and cared for it diligently. The next day, a sprout shot up, and soon it grew into a stem and blossomed into a flower. Oh my, how wonderful! As the bud blossomed, inside was a tiny, beautiful girl. Oh, how lovely! How can you be so small and so pretty? I shall call you Thumbelina. The grandmother tenderly cared for Thumbelina, who lovingly called her Mom and cherished her deeply. Little Thumbelina enjoyed setting a petal afloat in a dish and pretending it was a boat. When she fell asleep, her mother would gently cover her with a leaf. One day, a frog leapt through the window and kidnapped Thumbelina while she was sleeping, placing her in a basket. Thumbelina woke up startled. "I must have you marry my son," declared the frog, whose ugly son was ecstatic about the idea. The frog's son was thrilled. "Thumbelina, you are so beautiful. Let's get married right now." "No, I don't want to marry you." "Someone help me, please." "No matter how much you want to marry off your son, how can you kidnap a bride? You wicked frogs." Fish appeared from somewhere and scolded the wicked frogs. Thanks to the fish pushing Thumbelina's lily pad, she was able to safely escape the pond. "Thank you, fish," Thumbelina exclaimed. The lily pad boat carried her downstream, eventually stopping deep in the forest. Meanwhile, unable to find Thumbelina, the grandmother searched every nook and cranny of her home, weeping endlessly. "My dear daughter, what has happened to you?" At that moment, Thumbelina, lost in the forest, was abruptly snatched up by a large bug. She inquired, "Who are you? Where are you taking me?" The bug replied, "Just passing by and noticed how pretty you are. I'm taking you to be my bride." "What?" exclaimed Thumbelina. Upon reaching the bug's home, other bugs gathered around. "Why have you brought this girl?" they asked. "She's beautiful, and I want to marry her." "Beautiful? What are you talking about? She's truly ugly. She looks just like a human. And she only has 4 legs. Too ugly." "Oh, is that so? Now that you mention it, she really is ugly." Disappointed, the beetle flung Thumbelina into the forest carelessly. Wandering aimlessly through the forest, tired and hungry to the point of collapse, Thumbelina followed a delicious scent to a house shaped like an acorn. With trembling hands, she knocked on the door. "Is anyone there? Please, I'm very hungry." Shortly after, a field mouse lady opened the door and warmly welcomed her. "Come in, dear." The field mouse lady fed Thumbelina warm food and washed her clothes. She was very kind and told Thumbelina she could stay as long as she needed. Thumbelina enjoyed living with the kind field mouse, except when she missed her mother too much. One day, a mole gentleman from downstairs visited and immediately fell deeply in love with Thumbelina. "I must marry you," he declared, "But I do not wish to marry you," replied Thumbelina. However, convinced by the field mouse lady that she needed to follow the mole's words to stay safe in the forest, Thumbelina felt both absurd and angry. Thumbelina decided to leave the field mouse's side. "Thank you for everything, Auntie. I will never forget this," she said, and slipped away while the mouse was asleep. The next day, Thumbelina wandered through the forest until she saw something lying ahead. As she approached, she found a bird with an injured leg, unable to move. "Don't get wet in the rain, and don't freeze in the cold." Thumbelina gently carried the bird into a cave. Every day, Thumbelina cared for the injured bird, and thanks to her, the bird gradually recovered. Once its leg was healed, the bird said, "Thank you for taking care of me. Would you give me a chance to repay you?" "A chance? Yes. Climb onto my back. I'll take you to a wonderful place." As Thumbelina climbed onto its back, the bird soared high into the sky, crossing mountains and seas, and arrived in a land filled with flowers. "Welcome, Princess Thumbelina, to our country. Enjoy yourself here," the bird said as it set Thumbelina down on a flower petal. "Wow, how beautiful. I never imagined such a world." Just then, a flower bud opened, and a prince as small as a thumb appeared. "Hello, beautiful lady. I am the prince of this kingdom. Welcome to the Flower Kingdom. How wonderful it would be if you, with your dazzling beauty, became the queen of these lovely flowers. Will you marry me and live here with me?" "Prince of the flowers? I too wish to live with you, but I miss my mom so much. Can you first let me see her?" The Prince of the Flowers took Thumbelina's hand and said, "Thumbelina, let's go see your mother. This is my gift to you. Close your eyes." Suddenly, a flash of light and beautiful wings appeared on Thumbelina. Now she could fly freely. Thumbelina and the Prince of the Flowers flew together to see her grandmother. The grandmother, longing for Thumbelina. "Mom?" "Oh, my daughter," was overjoyed to see her daughter return and blessed her marriage with the prince. Thumbelina lived happily ever after with the Prince of the Flowers and her grandmother. That was the story of Thumbelina. Have a good night, everyone.